G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, I've been flat out working on vehicles lately, doing up front ends and stuff and crawling around underneath, and it wears you down. I'm looking forward to a little bit of quiet lathe time. So today is just a video you can just go along for the ride. What I've got is a cup disc, a cup wheel, grinding wheel, and I'm going to mount it so that I can use it in the lathe. The idea is I'll use it to dress some cutters, and I'm not sure what the stone is. It could even be a carbide wheel. I'm not sure. These came off of a valve grinding machine I had years ago, and a valve refacer, and I moved on and I found some stones. So anyway, I'm going to get it going. I've got a few of these, so various grades of material. Anyway, cut a long story short, I've got a bolt. I'm going to turn the thread off of it so it can go into a chuck or collet or whatever. And this end I'm going to put a cup disc. Put a cup disc either side. The cup disc just won't quite go in. These are some discs that came off the end of an old burnt out grinder I had. So I've just got to reduce the outside diameter of this on the back. It'll go on just nicely. Only these sort of stones, you want to support them out near the edge if you can. It's safer, a lot safer to use in that way. Quite often people just use very small washers on them, and, you know, okay I suppose, but better with a big cut wheel. So what I've got to do is I've got to just reduce the diameter of this, no big deal. To do it I'm going to use collets to do it, and I'll use the old Schaublin just to show that the old girl does get used a lot actually. And you know, people have looked at it and said, oh, nice old lathe, but do you use it? And I go, yeah, sure I use it. You know, it's still a good working little lathe, and yeah, it gives you a bit of satisfaction. Have a bit of quiet time without people pestering you. So I will get on with it. Toolmakers lathes, they're handy, you know, even though you haven't got power feed, you don't need power feed all the time, and you can set these up any way you want, any which way. I mean, a conventional, for instance, I mean, if you want to do a perfectly flat face on a faceplate or something, you can do it with one of these, whereas a conventional lathe, they always pull in towards the centre on a very slight angle. They do that so that if you put two flat surfaces together, they won't rock. They always make it so that your machine's slightly concave, and that way the faces will fit dead square, dead flat. All right, I'll get on with this. Doesn't need much off at all, so give it a go. Girl's got plenty of power, and that's on the low speed, because it's a fairly big diameter, but yeah, does a good job. Good for the money. And it's satisfying to use the old thing. Check it now. A little bit more. good enough. Okay. You can see by the colour of the belts, he gets a lot of use. Yeah, it's a very good old machine, I really like it. Considering I only paid $370 for it. But it was a wreck, I've got to admit, it was a heap when I got it. Where linishes are really good for breaking edges, cleaning up. Otherwise I would have had to put the facing cutter in, and I couldn't be bothered, so I just did it on that. But these are great, these are one of the best things you can have in the workshop. The cup washer fits in there. The one on the back I left that as it was, and this shows you, you know, keep all this old stuff, it's all useful. We've got the length set, so now we'll just block that on with a bit of bronze. I could tackle with a bit of that, but bronze will make a neater job of it. So we'll get out the old bullfinch and we'll do the job. Now, if you ever do work like this with LPG, when you've only got a limited amount of heat, always isolate it as much as possible. We're going to bronze on the back of that. Bit of easy 303, hard bronze rod. This is on the limit of what this little torch will do, so I'm going to help it along with another torch just to run all the bronze in properly. Even though the bullfinch found it hard going with all that heat sink there, dragging away the heat. This is standard LPG, remember, and there's a bit of heat loss here too. Once you put a second gun on it, just a standard LPG burner with a big tip on it, I mean that won't do hard bronze on its own, no way, but it's enough to give the bullfinch some preheating, bit of assistance, and then the high flame temperature of the bullfinch allows you to melt your bronze in. Looks like quite a neat job, so I'll just let that cool down, and then we'll cut it to length, and then we'll just machine back the thread. This is the part that will go into the collar or the chuck if I'm feeling lazy. And we don't need thread on there, so we'll just machine that thread back. and there'll still be plenty of metal left there to do the job. That's that. So yeah, the old bullfinch is top piece of gear within its limitations, but it certainly can do stuff you couldn't do with a standard LPG torch, and nat gas would struggle on something like that as well. Oh, well, that's not bad. I didn't use a finishing cutter on it. It's only going to go into a chuck and I'll wire buff it up. I could use a shear tool on it, I suppose, but I haven't got one that size. I'll have to make one up, but that'll do for now. Not getting too carried away. Yeah, the old girl, she magic old thing. Nice and quiet. Well, the Chinese lathe is pretty quiet too, you know. I hate these lathes that whine and bloody carry on. But, there you go, we're just about there. We're virtually there. Right. So there's the bronzing and the machining. Didn't take long. And I just did it with LPG torch and a 70 or 80 year old lathe. Okay. Time to put it together, I suppose, and then it will be done. Oh, well, that's that. Job's done. Put it together. It's time to call it quits. So that's that. And of course it's beautifully bronzed on the back. Look at that bronzing, isn't it fantastic? I just love bronzing. It does such a nice job. It looks so good. You can never get that with arc, you know. Well, you can get it, but it doesn't have the nice contrast like that. Great. And it's very strong because it capillaries down into the thread of the nut, so it's bonding right down inside, not just around that little lip there. Anyway, that's it. There you have it. I hope you found it interesting. There's a few techniques in there you can take note of. or bullfinch bronzing, using a toolmaker's lathe without power feed or anything, and I didn't even use a finishing cutter and still came up pretty good. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Time for lunch, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.